Hey, it's Jared White here for his channel, JMan63, and I think for you collectors, it's time we have the talk. No, not the kind you have with your 8-year-old boy, but it's time for me to break down the ins and outs of the diecast hobby, and I have a few examples here. So, everybody tells me that eBay is the best place to shop. Well, I'm going to break down a few ins and outs of every store around my area, some around your area, different places, different zones, places you might buy from, and well, let's just get started. Well, I'm always an eBayer myself. I don't necessarily buy from there all the time, but I do buy from there a little bit, and when I can, it's usually so expensive. The shipping and handling is what kills you on eBay. So my first example, if you don't want eBay, I say check yard sales. Here's my first example. Number 3, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Goodwrench Chevrolet, opening hood, be from the Revell collection. Now, this baby's pretty nice, right? And you would have thunk I would have spent maybe $12 on this thing, maybe $13. I spent $4 on this car, and this is a pretty decent price for this car. I would have normally spent $15 on this on eBay, plus I would have had to pay $8 in shipping and handling. This is the yard sale, $4, mint condition, had no package, but there were no scratches on it. I looked at this car, this thing was mint. Now, yard sales are a pretty good bet when you're trying to find high quality diecast. Sometimes they can be hit and miss though, and usually when you get there you have to go early. That's a few disadvantages of the yard sale. Now, that's the first example of where to buy. My second example is the little discount stores like Walmart, Kmart, Target. Well, Target's kind of expensive, but at Kmart I bought this Intimidator Dale Earnhardt number 3 tractor trailer, and this thing was about $12 at a Kmart. This would have actually been $16 at Target. I looked up the price and it was actually 16 bucks at Target, and this was $12 at Kmart. So Kmart can be a little cheaper than the Target stores. Now, usually I'm going to still stick to the subject of discontinued items. Another example of discontinued stuff is your antique stores. I have a place near me called the Little Blue Shop, and I bought this Barracuda. Now, this pretty nice little car has an opening hood. Sometimes the hood doesn't always want to stay open, but this is underneath the engine. Pretty decent engine detail. Front wheels steer and they're attached to the wheel. This car was only $15 at the Little Blue store. And now normally, and this car didn't have the packaging with it, but I didn't care because there were no scratches on it. And this car was actually $15 at the Blue store. And normally if you were shopping on eBay, since this is a discontinued item and you can't get it anymore, you would have probably paid $30 plus $10 in shipping and handling. So that would have been a lot more money going to eBay, because that is quite a deal, because I got this and a Jaguar for my collection. I don't have the Jaguar to show right now, but I would have spent $30 on both of those cars as opposed to spending $30 for 2 cars. So that's another deal, another example of how you can find stuff. My other example of discount items are these two right here. Discount stores. Actually, these are more or less deep discount stores, kind of like Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and then there's Ollie's, and then there's Big Lots. So this is actually a car I got at Big Lots, and I believe this was $2. This is a Drag Strip Demons car, the honker, and this was actually $2 at Big Lots, and they're normally $4 a piece at Toys R Us. I can't remember when the series came out, but I know when these came out they had to be at least $4 or $5. So you're pretty much getting your money's worth at usually a discount store. Another car I got was this One Bad Ride blown car at a Ollie's, and this was actually $2, actually $1.99, but normally $4 anywhere else, where you would have picked it up at a Walmart a few years ago, because these are pretty nice. They had the rubber tires, nice rims, good casting. They weren't like M2 machines where they had the headlights and the opening doors, but they were still nice cars for the year. So that's that one. I think for $2 is pretty decent, and that's my example of where you can get discounts at. And my other example of discounts are these two items right here: car shows and flea markets. Car shows are normally a hit and miss affair. Sometimes your dealer's there and sometimes he's not there. I have my own dealer near me. His name is Don Bird, and I bought this from him. Well, this was actually free, but what I do know is he was selling this for $5, and this is the Tom Daniels Iced Tea Dragster. Now normally I would have paid $12 online plus $3 in shipping and handling, which would have been a pretty high price considering he gave this to me for free, but $5 is what he was normally selling this for, and that would have been a pretty decent deal if I would say so. And this is actually a pretty nice car with the rubber tires and the engine casting. Just a really nice overall car for what it is. And that's basically that car. And my other example is flea markets, and this is actually one of the Matchbox Premier Edition collectibles, and this is the Santa Claus Coca-Cola Corvette. Now this was $1. Now, little advice on flea markets: you want to shop outside. Inside they have to pay more rent, and normally I've seen some cars inside go for $12. I've seen cars outside going for $1. And this car was pretty nice, and I honestly couldn't figure out how the lady had had it for so many years, yet the package managed to be so mint and in such good condition. I'm guessing she had package protectors or something like that for these cars, and that's pretty nice for $1. I mean, this was a good car. I was looking through the dollar bin at the flea market. I was like, I'm not going to find anything, but I actually found this, and this was pretty nice. But also be aware with flea markets and car shows and discount stores that you're always not going to find what you like. I mean, it's a hit and miss affair. Big Lots seems to have less and less these days, and Ollie's seems to have more, and that seems to be the best discount store to shop at right now where I am, which is on the East Coast, as opposed to the West Coast where Kmart's are the big thing, which I do know that. But yeah, that was a pretty decent car for the money. And this is my last, these are my last few examples, are retail. Well, actually, I got one more example. I'm sorry, but here's another example of car show items. This was a Rockin' Rods quarter-mile coupe, and I bought this at the car show a few years ago. I can't remember what I paid for it. I think this is like $1 or $2. And I think online these are probably at least going for $5, I would say, plus the shipping and handling. Although, even though I haven't looked this up, check your resources. I might not be completely correct, but I think for rubber tires and it being an older casting, I think you're going to pay upwards of $5 online. So, like I said, excuse my home phone, but I think you're going to pay upwards of $3 a piece for a car, $5 a piece for a car online. So that's the example that I have for car shows and flea markets. So this is my last example, is retail, and I have 3 here. These are the Toys R Us, Walmart, and the last is Target. So this is my other example. The first one is Walmart. Now, my advice, Walmart's probably going to be the cheapest, and if you And if you buy from Walmart, it's going to be the cheapest price, because I've seen some Hot Wheels there for 97 cents a piece, whereas I've seen them at like Toys R Us and Target. They're usually $1.69 at a Target or Toys R Us, and Toys R Us is expensive compared to Walmart. Walmart's the cheapest, and usually they have everything 9 times out of 10, whatever you're looking for. M2 machines, Johnny Lightning, you name it, they have it. The only thing that they don't have is Greenlight, and Greenlights are a Toys R Us brand, but the problem with Greenlights is they're really through the roof. So, but that's my first example. Target's another example. Target, they're kind of in between. They're not quite department, but they're kind of expensive. The Nostalgic series are at least $5 a piece. If you go to Target, you're going to be looking to pay at least $5 for a Nostalgia series, which is about the same price as an M2 machine, honestly. But you know, they can be a little expensive at Target, and I've found 9 times out of 10 I never really buy anything from there. They're always expensive, and they kind of don't really have what I want, as opposed to Walmart or Toys R Us. But which brings us to our last example, which is the Joe Dirt Hemi Daytona. And at Toys R Us, this was at least, I think, $6 maybe. And well, I mean, for what Greenlight is, they're a pretty decent car. I just think they're kind of like Johnny Lightning a little bit, with the metal base and metal body. The only thing that really opens on them is the hood. But for $6, I mean, you get a pretty decent car. The packaging's nice. But yeah, Toys R Us will really beat you up on price, because they're really expensive. So like I said, check all your resources, because not everywhere has anything. But like I said, if worst comes to worst and you really can't find it, go to eBay or any other online store like Amazon. I always say, though, they're going to beat you up on shipping and handling. So I'm Jared White, and this is the Diecast Collector's Bible. Goodbye.